tornado outbreak in the Midwest. Tonight, President Trump vowing to hit Iran very hard today as the war enters its second week. Airstrikes pummeling Tehran, including a key airport. New satellite images show damage to Iran's naval and aircraft facilities. Matt Rivers reports from the region tonight. The dignified transfer at Dover Air Force Base as the first fallen soldiers come home from the Middle East. President Trump and the First Lady there. The president not ruling out sending ground forces into the fight amid new concerns that Russia may be helping Iran with intelligence about the location of U.S. troops. Selena Wang is with the president. Iran's neighbors now under fire. Oil facilities threatened.
Ain't not fresh, ain't not clean, ain't no Wangster in me. Ain't no way. This is what I Willie enough.
At least 8 dead in the 2-day outbreak. Homes destroyed, neighborhoods left in ruin.
Is that South? What up, South? I'm in here, man. Check out the new spot, man. It's crazy right now. We're going to get busy like the monkey dance. Love you too, brother, man. Send your love to the Lokes, the Muslim brothers, your wifey, everybody, man. Tap in. I don't even care if nobody else join the chat. I got my brother in here. I don't care. I'm going to share this shit, but I talk to my brother the whole time. I don't care. But I got a job to do. So we just warming up, giving y'all the news, and then I'm going to get into the topics. Y'all ain't got to worry about that. Tapping in with me. My second day in a row, that mean I'm working. Mean I'm back.
Tonight's America Strong.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us on this Saturday. I'm Lindsay Davis. We begin tonight with the war. President Trump is now warning of hard strikes as the conflict in the Middle East spirals into its second week. Tonight, the gravity of the war is impossible to ignore. At Dover Air Force Base in Delaware, the president in attendance at the somber transfer of the remains of 6 American service members killed during the first days of the war, while fire and smoke rise from an oil refinery in Tehran as Israel launches a new wave of attacks. American B-1 bombers have now arrived in the UK as the U.S. promises a surge in attacks. Rockets continue to rain over Tel Aviv and the West Bank in Iran's latest barrage, a stark reminder of the escalating violence. President Trump says moments ago that there could be ground troops going into Iran, but they would have to be for a very good reason. We have full team coverage tonight as the war intensifies. Matt Rivers leads us off from Beirut, Lebanon.
As 6 fallen service members killed in action are returned to the U.S., tonight, President Trump vowing Iran will, quote, be hit very hard, saying the U.S. has identified new targets for, quote, complete destruction and certain death as the war rages on.
We're doing very well in Iran. You see the result, and it's been amazing.
The president praising the strength and scope of the U.S. military operation.
We have amazing weaponry, as you probably noticed over the last short period of time.
This satellite image showing the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier positioned just 200 miles off the coast.
I look like the guy that'll blacken both of your eyes that never been on the Diddy documentary. That's what I look like. I look like the guy that'll blacken both of your eyes. Blacken both of your eyes from the Diddy documentary. The guy that'll double both of your eyes. Double both of your eyes. That's that guy. I'm that guy that'll blacken both of your eyes, brother. I blacken both of your eyes, bro. Man to man, I blacken both of your eyes. I bust your face all up. Yeah, I will. Yeah, I was. I was the guy that'll bust your face up. I'm the one. I'm a face buster. You know how they had the Punisher? They got Face Crusher. I'm the guy, Face Crusher, that'll bust your shit. If I get an arm reach of you, I'll bust your mouth open. You ain't even do nothing. I'll bust your mouth open. My fault, YouTube. You know the trolls get in here, man, and they get to talking and get to playing, man. But I'll bust your mouth open. Nah, man, ain't no question, man. Nah, man, ain't no aggression in this, bro. You asking me crazy stuff, bro. I look like I've been on the Diddy documentary. Like, come on, bro. What type of play with me, man?
But the strikes continue today in several Gulf countries. Video posted on X showing
That guy right there, let him stay there, man. Sawyer J's 4. Let him stay in there. Don't even get him out there.
Operations. And tonight, the war opening up on several fronts.
Let me do this right.
Lebanon to Iraq, where our
Yes. We back in the building with another podcast vlog, and this is Raw Dope Podcast, aka RDP, Raw Dope, what you want to call it. I'm your host, Han 5000, reporting live from the home studio, exactly my basement, man. And the year didn't kick off like I wanted it to kick off, but I got to get back to my fan base. We on our way to 10K. We've been in the game 7 years, and we got some cardinal rules on here tonight. No fuck shit, no fake shit, no foolishness. Anything you say can and will be used against you on the internet, okay? I am a black man, over 40 years old, from the city of Baltimore that does content, you know, in his spare time, and I love what I do. Over 700 pieces, close to 1 million. But I didn't quit my day job. Maybe that's why I'm not at 100K. Can't sit in front of the computer all day. But I can sit in front of the computer a few hours out the day. And that's when I deliver you this raw and uncut content. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about Britney Spears back in rehab, having another meltdown. Bruh, it's a shock to the rolling 60s and the Loc Nation that there's been some wild things coming out about one of the biggest rolling 60s outside of Nipsey Hussle that we heard of was Big U. Big U updated, superseding indictment, wiretaps being released, whole bunch of stuff in the media. Lil Durk denied again. That's like the third time in a row they denied one of his motions. The boys suiting up and going to trial. 2 black men died in the month of February in Baltimore in the hands of Baltimore City police officers. Gunned down the man in Baltimore County, punched a man, which was an OG of mine. He lost his life to the violence. And America's at war. That's my topics. That's my topics. They're my topics right there. Again, I repeat, we're going to talk about Britney Spears, pulled over the whole drunken incident. We're going to talk about lil Durk, you know, indictment, emotions being denied, update on Durk and what's going on. He going to court. Big U. That's one interesting one. America at war, man. And 50 Cent versus Damon Dash, too. I got all that on the chopping box. Check my description below. Hey, hype this video. That's how this video get pushed into the mass. Hype this video, y'all. Please hype this video. You want to know how you hype a video? Let me show you. Let me show you how easy it is to hype a video. I'm just going to go hype a random video, just like the real God I am. And this will be Street Theory Podcast. I don't even know these guys, but this is how you really hype a video. You go to the comments, right? You go to the comments and you just swipe over. You can't hype this video, man. I don't know why. Can't hype the video. I'm just trying to show y'all how to hype my videos. So, you can't hype your own video. Let me see. Bro, right here I watch, bro. I ain't gonna hate on him. But, this is moving so slow. Oh, I ain't connected to the Wi-Fi. That's crazy. Hold up. So you just go to the like box right here. You go to the like joint. You go to the comment joint right there. If y'all can't see, go to the comment and you go over. And you're going to see that button right there. You're going to see hype. So you go to the comment. You slide like this. You know what I mean? I hate when I look at that. You slide right. I didn't hype this video, but y'all see hype. Hype this video. Go to the comment, slide it over, and hype this video. Ain't no problem, man. Now here we go at my Whoopi Goldberg, man. If you going to stand here and listen to this game and listen to my opinion, be whoever you see in front of the camera, bro. I don't know you. You don't know me, man. I don't really care about y'all trolls going into troll world. You know what I mean? Y'all trollistic. Y'all some fruit tenders. Everybody's trolling to asking something crazy. You are a fruit tender to me. A fruit tender. You are a real live fruit tender to me. Fruit Tembo. Fruit Tembo 2. You know what I mean? I'm definitely live. And I'm just letting people get in the chat because I know my man here add a Q&A sticker to send me his anthem. Try. Okay. Okay. What up, Portugal in the building? What's good? What's good? Summer anthem. Yo, y'all tell me y'all summer hit anthems. What? Like, but before I get to my topics, I know this is the troll hour. So let's get into it. Y'all trollers are crazy.
Has rained down on their countries. And Lindsay, those scenes of smoke rising and fires burning at oil facilities like the Shahran refinery in Tehran are prompting several Gulf states now to cut back on production, which is further pushing up prices.
Okay. Yeah, I know that.
And for more on the ongoing conflict with Iran, tune into This Week. Tomorrow morning, Martha Raddatz reports from Jerusalem. Now to other major news this Saturday night. Millions of Americans are on alert for severe weather. Deadly and powerful tornadoes tore through Michigan, leaving a trail of destruction, killing at least 4 people. Tornadoes are also turning deadly in Oklahoma. At least 4 people died there as well. Let's get right to meteorologist Danny Beckstrom from our New York station, WABC. Good evening to you, Danny. Can you time this out for us?
I like to play a little news fast, but let me get straight to it. What we gonna talk about first? Damon Dash. I want to do Damon Dash versus 50 Cent. Damon. That's how it go. Damon Dash.
If you got hit, even as a passenger or in an Uber, you would need.
Is this a mop? Bruh. You must be bored, Richard. You might be bored, Richard, because you playing. You about to get yourself kicked out.
I'm one of those people who's rooting for Dame to get like a moment of winning, man. Because even
these dreadlocks, sort of point, real good.
People just look at him like,
see that? I pull the shit out my head. You see that, boy? You see that? You see that natural? You see that thick growth on that? You see that, boy?
Like, look,
you see that, boy? You see that, boy? You see that roots, boy? Fuck you, John, about boy.
That he's talked about a million times because, like, he has nothing new necessarily to kind of get into.
Okay, so let's get into the topics. I'm warmed up. So, 50 Cent reacts to Damon Dash saying stuff about him. And he reacted kind of brutal. That's it.
Because for me, I don't respect people that would violate women. Right. I walked away. Yeah. I mean, it seems like it's inevitable now. It just, it seems like the Europeans needed to, because what I'm understanding, there was a war to keep the British out of America. So the only way they could get in America would be through someone that's American. Right. So it looks like they funded the Carnegie dude. He got his money from Europe. And I don't even believe the Rockefellers was like that either now. I don't even know if Mark Zuckerberg is like that. Anyone aggregating data, I'm like, you might work for the government. Someone just put you up there. If I can't figure it out, if I'm not like impressed with your logic when I speak to you, again, there would be certain people that are locked up now, and I'd be talking to them, I'd be like, there's no business out
David Dash, my guy, man.
What's going on? How the fuck did they keep getting these deals?
David Dash, my guy. I don't like this Q&A. You know what I mean? Yeah. But, so, Damon Dash, I'm going to talk a little bit about Damon Dash. Because it's like, I got the topics up there, but it's open. So, Damon Dash, he's a legend. He's a GOAT. When you live long, you see people growing to GOATs. When I was younger, Damon Dash was the shit. I'm not from New York, but, shit, we watched Damon Dash. He was like the executive everybody wanted. I felt like Damon Dash was Kanye before Kanye. That's what I'm going to say. Dame stand on business. He was one for all for one. One thing that Dame indicated into one of his long interviews, he said, yo, he was going hard on them people, them different white executives and people that was playing with the culture because he felt as though he had the team behind him. So with the team behind you, make you go hard. Then he realized that the team was making deals while he was burning bridges. That's what Dame and Dash said. They was burning bridges. He said he was burning bridges while Hov and them was making relationship with the same people he was burning bridges. But he said something about 50. And, you know, I love 50 Cent, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because, listen, man, I'm from Baltimore. I'm not from New York. I'm not from New York. I'm not from New York at all. I love New York. You know what I mean? I love New Jersey. New Jersey is the first place I ever lived outside of Baltimore. And that's crazy. Most people get $1 or $2 and move to different places. I got shot up and I went to New Jersey. I always tell people that. And I go to my Aunt and Uncle house in the fancy ghettos, you know, or nowhere fancy, you know, no big house, and we was Uncle Phil type shit. I don't know. I went to the Jets, and my friends, the guys that I made friends were just going through the same shit I was going through, but just in a different state. So that was easy to behold. You know what I mean? So, you know, so I grew up, and then before I ever went to New York or New Jersey, New York music had a heavy toll in our region, in our city, in Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, like New York music from the New York greats definitely could come through here and hit the arenas and hit the clubs and shit. You know, you had to pass through. It wasn't too many New York artists that didn't stop through Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? DC and Virginia. You know what I'm saying? They played this area. So we grew up off a lot of that music. You know what I'm saying? Baltimore, for real. We grew up off a lot of New York music, whether dudes like it or not. I felt like New York had some unity, but it was a lot of wild shit. It was rap beefs. There was shit going on in the New York streets. We all know that, even though I'm not from New York. But 50 Cent, bruh, I would have to honestly say, in my opinion, just my opinion, I felt like, you know, 50 did a lot of like rich nigga hating type shit. That's what I would describe it as, like rich nigga hating. Meaning that you got everything in the world, and if it's like you roll with somebody I don't like, you say something I don't agree with, you do some wild shit, I'm on your ass. That's how that's 50 Cent mentality. And I think that, you know, it be fun in games, you know, sometimes. And some of 50 Cent situations ended in tragedy. You know, people got hurt and shit, you know, things happen. But lately, I feel like he be doing too much to be as successful as he is, to have as much as he going on. His, like, the trolling and the shit he be doing now is starting to become phony to me. I'm just being real. I'm my own man. I'm not a yes man. I'm my own man. The shit that he doing is kind of phony to me. You feel me? I ain't gonna hold you. And, you know, he coming at the old nigga Dame now. It really, like, linked on Dame. But calling him broke and that type shit. Like, I mean, Dame going through his crisis. Dame money fucked up, but god damn. I don't know if Dame fucked up. Dame just fucked up in the public eyes, but god damn, 50. Have a little respect for the homie. Like, you gotta respond and reply to everything. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Then the shit would just, like, disrespect the Tiny. I understand if you want beef with T.I., but, you know, and this kid's sons want to get in there and protect their dad, but the women and little kids should be out of it, bro. You know, Lil King old enough and T.I. old, the other sons, they old enough to do the music and love the music. You know, there's nothing wrong with them loving the music and being a part of the greatness of the music. And they sound good. You know, shout out to Boosie, too. Boosie and that music with that he doing with his daughter sound good. I'm proud of him. You know what I mean? That boy done found a new lane, like, you know what I mean? Fucking with the talent you created. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So I don't really like that. But we're going to get back into what 50 was talking about with Dame. But I really ain't like that. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Dame big OG. You know what I'm saying? Big homie. Been around. Because of Dame and Dash, a lot of things happen for, you know, black artists and music. You know what I mean? Dame made an impact in the game that we would never forget. You know what I'm saying? And Dame has been, you know, it goes to show you when they block you out the industry, they block you out the industry. But let's get back into this. My man Dame talking about.
Where are they getting this money from? Like, I just be seeing people on lane. I just like, hey, well, it just, I know what you make. I know what you gotta spend.
Yo, I'm gonna be honest with you. So I got some tips. Pause. And not gonna lie, this is some pretty good sources. You know, I never revealed, but still. So the source that I got said this to me, right? Because I think when I was trying to figure out everything with Dame Dash and, like, you know, Jay-Z, remember there was a whole thing about, like,
I know about margin.
Jay-Z, oh, sorry, wrong keyboard. Jay-Z, it was like Jay-Z, Rachel Roy, right? And,
see, I listen, yo, before I react.
Was supposedly accused of being the so-and-so with the long hair, right? That what's the name was talking about, right? That you know, supposedly on Lemonade. That was supposedly happened, right? This okay, remember that? So Melody. And that okay. So the idea, just to kind of make this a little bit short, the idea was that Jay-Z fucked or may have been intimate with Rachel Roy. Now, I got some sources on this shit chat. I don't know if this is some good shit. They said, listen, the real is that Jay-Z, they said Jay-Z fucked Rachel Roy. And I'm going to say allegedly with all this. But this
is crazy. This is academic at its best. Hey, for a second right now, though.
They're saying,
if y'all do, it's 8 people in here, man. Please hype this video, man. Please, 7 likes in here. If you like this video, if you in here and you one of the people that like the video, please go to the comment, go to, you know, where you comment, and it's 3 dots right there. Slide it over and hype this video. If you could just do me that one favor, there's no Cash App up there. I'm not asking for money tonight. I'm asking to just push me back into the algorithm, and I have to go 30 for 30, jumping on YouTube every day, all the way to my birthday. And I just got to get busy. I have to deliver y'all content. So please, just hit the hype button. Push this in. If you just tuning in, I'm going to get into a little bit of the Britney Spears story. I'm getting to the 50 Cent, Dame and Dash. That's what we on now. Then, of course, they bring up Jay-Z and got to go into these long stories. America's at war. We're going to talk a little bit about that. You know, I don't do the politics too much. I just do my unorthodox opinion on politics. Lil Durk. We'll talk about lil Durk being denied again in court. And we also want to talk about everything that's going on with Big U. Please hit that notification button, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, leave a comment. I'm rocking out with y'all till a little bit after midnight just to get back in the algorithm, pushing it to the limit. That's my thing. So, hey, let's go. Let's get back and see what Act trying to do, make this point.
So Jay's demeanor is like, nigga, you took Aaliyah from me. So when it came time to Dame and Rachel Roy, Jay gets back his play and fucks her, but he's with Beyonce at this point. So again, Dame never says this, so I want to be fair to him, and he's always denied that Jay has ever done anything with Jay has ever done anything with Aaliyah. But I'm hearing some good word on the street is that nah, Jay was cracking Aaliyah. And the Rachel Roy thing was kind of on some revenge shit because Dame took Aaliyah pretty much from Jay, and Jay wanted to do the Rachel Roy thing to say, there's some things to
Come on,
talk.
man. I want David Dash versus 50 Cent. This is the one. This is the one. This is the one. With 50 responded to it. I gotta get to it. This is the one. Gotta do this. Hit that notification button, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, leave a comment.
One of those people who's rooting for Dame to get like a moment of winning.
There it is.
Because even if he has somewhat of a point, people just look at him like a has-been.
True.
Dame Dash. Like, that's the problem. People look at him like a has-been, right? Like, look.
This is Dame Dash. You about to check.
Like, we feel like we're talking about the same...
To TFU.
Like, he's talking about the same shit that he's talked about a million times because, like, he has nothing new necessarily to kind of get into. And that's the, you know, issues. Let's see. Where does he talk about? Where does he talk about 50?
Like young girls, because for me, I don't respect people that would violate women.
Right.
That's why I walked away.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like it's inevitable now. It just, you know, it seems like the Europeans needed to, because what I'm understanding, you know, there was a war to keep the British out of America. So the only way they could get in America.
I already went to that. Let's get right here. I already had that. They might come.
Speaking of Puffy, right? You think it's a rap for him?
I don't know. Like, do you really know what he's going to try? Like I said, all that for some reason, all the people that are under the gun right now were people that I did not with. People could you around them. But I never was around them.
Right. Did Jay know about what he did to Aaliyah?
Did he know that out with famous people or famous men? So that didn't happen. I was like, yo, how you gonna do a project with my mother that everybody knew R. Kelly married Aaliyah at 15. Everybody knew that.
Wow.
So was the conversation had? Like, yo, how you gonna go and do something with this dude? Hell yeah, that conversation was had. Hey, you think I'm soft? Bro, like I'm punk? So that didn't happen. I was like, yo, how you gonna do a project with my motherfucking girl? We had the conversation. Well, would you still with someone that with your girl? Would you still do anything with that person? So why would anyone expect me to? But that's what I don't understand. I mean, like, yo, people be like, why? Isn't it? Just that alone. There's a lot of other shit. But that alone was like the nail in the coffin for me. I was out of there. I was gone. Trust me. After that, I don't want to be nowhere near. I knew that shit was gonna blow up. I didn't want no parts of that shit. But I was like, I don't want no parts. That's not good money. What they did was bridge burn. A lot of men would not have made that choice. But any real
want to act on it today.
public.
Yes.
I'm trying to get into what he said about 50 Cent,
Still in the gun in her head.
I'm tired of hearing that shit, bro.
And, you know, then
All y'all niggas was too old to be fucking with Aaliyah. Dame and Dash, Jay-Z. You know, I don't knock no Never Man for what they do, but they was all a little too older than Aaliyah. Aaliyah would have been like XYZ. She would have been probably like Aaliyah would have been like fucking, she probably been like my age. Like, yeah, I think like Aaliyah was like my age when she I used to like Britney Renner. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know. Here we go. This is more interesting. Britney Spears DUI.
Parents of children.
Let's get into
play
that.
Roblox.
Let's get into that. Let's get into Britney Spears DUI. That'll be better for me. That'll be better for me. The DUI. The DUI from Britney Spears. This is what I want to get into. Let's talk about this.
It's about Britney Spears' inner circle on the heels of her DUI arrest, and it turns out she's been cleaning house. So Britney Spears' DUI arrest may have come as a shock to some of her fans, but people in her inner circle have kind of seen this coming. We know this because we broke a story this morning about her sober coaches. Britney actually had 2 sober coaches on her staff. They were fired just a few weeks ago. While we're not entirely sure why she got rid of them, we know why they were there. The sober coaches obviously were the only bumpers in Britney's life at this point because there is no conservatorship. She doesn't have staff around her that deal with her drinking, with her battles with sobriety. And so these coaches were there for that, but they were let go. Britney losing sober coaches is a big deal because, as I said, without the conservatorship, she's the only one who's running the show. And so if she has people that she's hired who are life coaches or sober coaches, that is at least an acknowledgement that she needs some control in her life. But once those people are fired, who's managing this? Who's managing her day-to-day? Is she taking medication? Is she drinking? And combining that with medications where that might not be a good idea. Like we said, when she was arrested Wednesday night, she was just out driving by herself. I don't want to say joyriding, she wasn't necessarily speeding, but she's just out by herself on a Wednesday night after allegedly drinking. And we're told, by the way, that those people were fired shortly after she made that $200 million plus deal to sell her catalog. Not saying that those two things are connected, but that's about when it happened. Going forward, we told you that after she was arrested, that there were people around her who felt like this could be a good thing. In fact, her manager, Kate Hudson, told us on the record, he was hoping that this will be the trigger for some, as he put it, long overdue changes in her life. We're also told that Britney is not necessarily fighting that people around her have said, look, maybe it's best that you get some treatment. We're told that she is open to suggestions about rehab, and clearly those conversations are going to be had in the coming weeks. Her first court date for the DUI case is May 4th, but it is entirely possible that she could voluntarily decide to enter some sort of treatment program before that. As for the DUI arrest, there's something we need to clear up. So she was booked for driving under the influence, but there's a chance that there could be added charges because when the CHP put out their press release about her arrest, they said that they are also testing for substances. When the officers pulled her over,
she was messing with
they
that coke.
not only suspected she was drinking, but there was something they saw in her behavior that made them think that she was under the influence of some other drug besides
cocaine.
alcohol. We had heard from a source there were substances found in the car. CHP later clarified that and said that the substances were suspected to be in her system, and that's why they were testing her blood. One other thing in this whole Britney DUI saga, now that we've had a few years of watching Britney make her own decisions, there are some people who feel maybe, just maybe, they went too far. We spoke to one of those women, a woman named Jessica. She was very vocal during the Free Britney movement and has continued posting about Britney, but the tone of her posts have changed lately.
At first, I was very supportive of the Free Britney movement. When it ended, we started to see things that sort of made me think, okay, maybe this isn't as black and white as I thought it was. She was posting on social media, dancing with the knives and all kinds of things like that. it really just made me pause and think, like, okay, something is not right here.
While Jessica thinks that maybe she should be back under conservatorship, I don't think that's really even going to be a conversation here. It is, one, much harder to get someone in a conservatorship now because of everything Britney went through. Laws have changed. But I don't even know that she needs a conservatorship. Really what Britney needs at this point is a support system. She needs people around her. That could come in the form of her son. In fact, her manager.
Man, now y'all heard that shit about Britney Spears. You know what I think about Britney Spears? Britney Spears wants to do what she wants to do. She wants to drink, she wants to party, she wants to hang out. You know, Britney was a star at a very young age and had to be like in front of that camera on TV for so long, and that shit took a wear and tear on her. Like, it really did. It took a wear and tear on it, bro. And I think, you know, she just be going off the meat racket, bro. You know, my thing is she needs to move the fuck from California. She need to get around some cool people. She need to have a good fucking time and just make money till she go. Like, that's my personal opinion. You get what I'm saying? You know, rich people and successful people be having all the success in the world, but be the most miserablest people in the world. Like, just because you got money and success doesn't mean you're going to be happy. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. You know, a lot of those child, you know, celebrities get in their adulthood and just be, you know, immature because they never had a chance to be immature. So I just think Britney need to be around some good people, some trusting people that's not out for her money and not judgmental, really help her to get to know them or let her know, hey, smoking a joint, taking a line, sipping a little booze here and there, never hurt nobody. Just my honest opinion. You just can't abuse it, Britney. And if you go out a couple times out the week and have a good time, well, not out the week, just a couple times a month, 3-4 times out the month, go enjoy yourself. You know what I mean? And I think that will be enough. And you can go enjoy yourself without judgment. I think that's a part of the therapy that Britney Spears personally need. And a lot of those celebrities need that. Just to be able to be themselves without judgment, it can help them get back. You know, if they able to, you know, 4 or 5 times just be themselves throughout the month, I think the rest of the month, they'll be the person that you need. You know, everybody need a mental break. And I think that's what a lot of these celebrities, when you see these celebrities going crazy, Orlando Brown and, you know, Britney Spears and a lot of these people going crazy, they're not going crazy, bro, just because it's crazy in them. They got everything they could do. I'm just naming cheap shit. They can go go-kart, paintball, and bowling. They can do a bunch of shit, not without the cameras in their face. You know what I mean? They can't just be normal without somebody asking for something. You talking about kids, you know, that was making money. Britney Spears was making money since she was 7, 8 years old, bro. On motherfucking Star Search and shit. That girl been in the limelight for a long time. She's every bit of between 43 and 48 years old. She's not even 50 yet. And she been going crazy. She got married. She had the kids. She been going through just a lot of shit. But just imagine never being able to be yourself and never being around people that's trustworthy because you've been a celebrity since you was 6, 7 years old. So that's fucking hard to find a real friend. It's hard to find genuine love because you got so much to offer. You know what I mean? It's hard to show genuine love because you got so much more to offer than love. You know what I mean? I appreciate that, bro. You got so much more to offer than, you know, love. And I think that's it with Britney. And I think that's what a lot of artists, man, they go crazy because, man, they just don't get to be normal, yo. And they got people around that's always bagging. It's a headache, bro. I feel like if they had a mental break and just be around some real people in real situation, you know, 4 or 5 times a month, it will help them out the rest of the month. That's what I truly believe, bro. Because it's just be like, yo, everybody be around you just be weird where it turns them weird and they running off and they doing crazy shit. Britney Spears just riding in the car on a Wednesday tipsy. Like, if she'd had real people that was unjudgmental, bro, she would have been in the back of the black truck laughing, having a good time. You know what I'm saying? You want to get tipsy on a Wednesday? What's wrong with that? You know what I mean? She's financially straight. You know, her motherfucker trying to buy her catalog for $200 million or more. Like, come on, man. Like, that's going to set her straight, like, forever. So, you know, shout out to Britney, man. I hope she get herself together for the public eye, but also I hope she find herself within herself, man, and get around some good people. When she check in rehab, she get around some real people that's going through real things, and I hope they become her friends. And she had some, what they say when you trying to lose weight, she had some cheat days out the money. She want to do what she want to do, man. Like, god dang. Let the girl live. Hit that notification button. Shout out to my man Keeping It a G News, man. Keeping It a G Blogger. Man, make sure y'all go follow that page over there, right there, my man, right there. This the last comment. I'm getting back into it, so yeah, you know, Britney, man, she'll be all right. You know, as for Dame and Dash, Dame's older, 57, 58 years old. And I've been waiting for Dame and Dash to make a big comeback for a while, because, you know, I'm a fan of Dame's and I'm rooting for Dame. But Dame made valid points in all his interviews, because one thing, Dame Dash always move like the original man. He always moved, man. He always believed in the people. He always believed that we can make our own moves, make our own money with the right funding and the right backing. And just because we get that right funding and backing, we don't have to be, you know, we don't have to be eaters. We don't have to be booty lickers. You don't have to go and degrade yourself. You know what I'm saying, to get this money into be in this industry. You know what I'm saying? We all moving as one. They gotta let us through with the bullshit, without all the bullshit. And I believe Damon Dash is about that. You know, independence and showing the way. He always taught that from when he was super rich to now that he was super okay. You know what I mean? I don't think Dame's fucked up. Dame made a lot of people rich outside of music. He broke bread with different people, and their business is still thriving, man. You know what I mean? I fuck with Dame, man. I pray for Dame. And one day I hope him and Jay make amends, man. You know, they made history. Let's get into, this is one thing that this has been one thing that just been on my shit, man. Like, hold up. This one thing that's been everywhere, y'all. The boy Big U. I ain't even gonna play no games, bro. I ain't even gonna play no games, bro. I gotta get into this Big U shit. Big U.
Eugene Henley Jr. has become known.
Yeah.
Did your teenager develop depression?
Yeah, I gotta get into this Big U. I gotta get into this part about the boy Big U. Real shit. Real shit, man. Gotta get into about Big U.
Violence. Now the FBI is accusing him of running a criminal enterprise that committed a series of crimes.
I just need y'all prayers. I need y'all to... I don't even know what to say.
Remember Big U? He turned himself into federal custody after a shocking indictment alleged he committed a number of crimes.
And here we go. Apparently, I'm Big U lawyer now. That's what I've been told. Soon as you correct something, suddenly is why you defending him. Defending him? From who? The YouTube Supreme Court already broke down the supersede indictment nonsense, already explained stacking the deck, already explained how pressure tactics work, already walked through how federal cases expand when somebody refuses to fold. And now I'm back again, knocking already head. Oh, he back, he riding, he must know something. Yeah, I know how federal procedure works. That's what I know. In this next part, y'all ain't gonna like it. Because now we stepping into that wiretap fairy tale shit. The one that said Big U knowingly used the tap phone line to line people up for the feds. Yeah, that one, the dramatic one. Does this sound good in the thumbnail one? Like, slow that shit down, bruh. So you telling me a man allegedly running major operations knowingly used a federal wire to secretly help the government, and the government just didn't mention it? You see how wild that shit sound when you say it calmly? If that were true, it would be that whole headline. Long-time informant exposed. Gang leader secretly cooperating. Double agent indicted. That's how indictments work, homie. Government does not hide betrayal narrative. They highlight them. It weaponize them. It use them to inflame juries. Because nothing strengthens a prosecution like betrayal. Breach of trust. Secret cooperation. Man, that's courtroom gold right there. So why is there zero mention of it? Not buried, not hinted at, not even implied. Zero, bruh, zero. Because it didn't happen. Let's get surgical on these bitches. If someone knowingly used a telephone for years to feed information, why file a motion to suppress the wiretaps? Why try to throw the recordings out? A motion to suppress is filed to block the government from using these calls as evidence. If your whole story is I was helping them, you don't try to bury the tapes. You play the tapes. You let the jury hear. You say, see, I was a good guy the whole while.
And you know it's 26,000 wiretaps, right?
Yeah, he's got a lot of phone calls that have been recorded.
What would you say if the same phone and all your socials is named and the sue served New Jersey wrote a 60 indictment in 2021? You are target number 4, Big U Eugene Henley, gang leader supplying drugs and guns to the New Jersey Roller 60s from Los Angeles, and yet for the next 4 years, you stayed on the same phone calling all your homies.
Cap.
Stop it. Get some help.
Instead, suppression motion. Why? Because the defense is attacking the legality of the wire. Under Title III, the government has to prove necessity. They have to show how they tried other investigation methods first. If they were lazy, if probable cause was weak, if the affidavit had problems, if they failed to minimize unrelated cause. That wire can be challenged. That's federal procedure. So again, bruh, why would somebody who knew for years their phone was tapped try to suppress the very evidence they supposedly created intentionally? You can't explain that shit at all because it collapses the lie. Here's another fact that somehow gets ignored. The moment it became known the phone was tapped, usage changed. Big U used other phones to contact his wife. That's documented. That's in the government factual basis. That in itself is behavior shift once he found out. That's reaction once he found out. If you knowingly feed information through a telephone for years, why switch once it's exposed? Why stop using it? That contradicts the very fantasy that they use to create the lie. Because the fantasy required long-term knowledge. But Big U's conduct shows adjustment once awareness happens. That's not cooperation at all. That seemed like damage control to me. Here's something else. If someone was an active informant who went bad or exceeded authority, the government would have absolutely led with that. It wouldn't hide it and surprise everyone in that trial. They would have framed it in the indictment, a post-detention memo. They'd say he abused his informant relationship. He breached trust. He operated as a double agent. That strengthens their narrative. Prosecutors don't leave leverage sitting on the table. Ever. Now let's shift to that developing options nonsense. These dudes on the internet claim that his nonprofit was secretly used to set up gang members for arrest. That one there sound more dramatic than a Martin Scorsese film, except there's zero mention of that in the indictment.
That's the phone that he got.
Yeah, his name's in the contract. 7th Street Division issued him a BlackBerry as a police issue phone to report all gang violence in his grid area. And this is an annual contract. If he doesn't produce, then they take it. He's been out of the contract 10, 11 years. He did such a great job. He went from $550,000 a year. They gave him a $440,000 bonus. We in the contract. But listen, fuck all that.
Because it's actually putting us in paperwork, right? And like doing like real police shit. I seen a nigga get like 20 guns. And when he got 20 guns, he's selling them to the homies. But I'm like, why are you writing down the serial numbers? So it's like, he was doing like shit like that, and I didn't catch on. So it was like, I'm waking up, man. You get what I'm saying?
Voter is just a...
No Jumper fucked up because that conversation that they was just having about Big U was on a live podcast, bro. a live podcast, bro. I ain't no Big U. But like I said, I seen Big U with the check in that movement. Big U was a funny guy. You know what I mean? No disrespect to Big U. He a cool guy. I thought the old nigga was hilarious. You know, the old nigga still mobbing, you know what I mean? Still doing his thing at his old age. You know, I thought he was a successful old nigga, bro. I ain't expect to see Big U at his age getting caught up in that. And those wiretaps reveal a lot of things. They reveal a lot of backdoor conversation. They revealed a lot of shit. And there's a lot going on trying to say you hot and shit like that. I don't believe Big U hot. I believe Big U should have knew better being as old as he was to play with them foes the way he was doing. I believe that with Big U. I believe Big U got in over his head after a while. I believe that Big U let the evil of the money trap him. I felt like, you know, Big U had a way out. You know, his son made the NFL. I felt like, you know, doing what he was doing for the kids in the community, I felt like that was a beautiful thing Big U was doing. I feel like Big U could have went place with his, you know, non-profit organization, with his son being in the NFL, with the youth football league. I feel like Big U had an opportunity to change his life around and, you know, have the story of a respected OG who not telling the story from jail or telling the story in a novel because he's never going to see the streets again. You know what I mean? I believe a lot of that internet shit played a part in Big U getting locked up. And also, I believe that Big U played a big part in itself getting locked up. You know what I mean? And I think, you know, because of Big U age, and it's like no one cares, and he's charged with murder. I don't think I know if he's convicted, it's pretty much over with. You know, he'll watch a lot of his son games from behind the door. You know, his commissary will be on big high alert. He won't have to fight as much in jail. He'll want to stay on the West Coast side of things. Because the street politics, not jail politics. And I'm 100% sure just who Big U is, he's not going to have a whole bunch of problems in jail. That's just not going to happen. It's a sad situation. Some of the stuff that you is accused of allegedly doing, you know, especially that Vegas situation, they some fucked up. That's a fucked up situation with that young kid. But other than that, man, it's a fair game in the streets. You know what I'm saying? LA's full of gangs, so to say gangs is running something, gangs got this control, it's like the norm. You know what I'm saying? One time in the early 1900s, you know, the mafia was everywhere, and that's just how gangs are, man. You know, gangs are everywhere. It's a way of life in LA. So I don't know, man. You know, Big U going to trial this year. Durk going to trial this year. Melly going to, you know, is a few shit. Luigi Meloni going to trial. Some of the Mafia dudes going to trials. I mean, a lot of trials this year, bro. So we going at the end of the year, we gonna see the outcome of a lot of shit. I believe Big U gotta pick 12 because I don't think the plea deal, you know, gonna be is even up for discussion. For Big U, if you ain't talking about time served and at least 10 years to the minimum, if you can say whatever, let's get 10 years. But with the feds and them violent charges, I don't think that's an option for Big U. You know what I mean? But they saying some crazy shit. And one thing that Big U did say before was incarceration. And I repeat, I do believe that, you know, the internet and dudes wanting to get that little $5,000-$10,000 a month that they wasn't making on the streets, you know, they started putting the culture into the content for clickbait, and it was real live shit going on. Could you imagine the Squid Game was real? You know what I'm saying? Like, so they doing real live criminal activities and then having open discussions on podcasts about it. Like, this is like the things that was going on was past the statute of limitation. So I believe, you know, with years and years of investigation, because I believe that all gays, all black organizations are for life under investigation. You know what I mean? Black man is for life under investigation. But the investigation gets deeper when you enhance what they thought they knew. And then they start getting people to participate. People getting caught with guns, drugs, and certain shit. And they get caught up. And, you know, they choose to cooperate. They choose to make money. They choose to put people together. They choose to be confidential informants. With that being said, and with that being known, because Big U's not a young guy. Like, you know, some shit, you know, when you under the age of 30, under the age of 30 years old, you know what I mean, from 15 to 30, is that, he might not know. Once you start hitting 32, 33, 34, 40, 45, 46, nevertheless, 50, man, you know better, man. Especially if you're 50 years old with your motherfucking freedom. You know better, man. You know what I'm saying? You know better, bro. So, I don't believe everything that they got on Big U that he done. I truly don't believe that. But I do believe that I do believe that them people know what they talking about with their confidential informants and surveillance and knowing certain shit. They got some shit on Big U. Well, that's enough to set Big U away for life. We don't know. You know what I mean? We watched the Diddy trial in federal court, and we think, you know, we watch a jury, you know, give a honorable verdict, and Diddy still in jail. So, you know, just because they put in this law and crime and all these platforms putting out content, you know, you gotta, hey, listen, shout out to the Twitch and the YouTube community, because it is some motherfuckers that never been to college to do some serious investigation work by gathering all the videos, getting the inside people. But bruh, if you know better, you do better. And for the people that know better, I don't think you should put the outside world, once you retired and you're not in the outside world no more, I think you should leave that shit in the outside world. You know, you could tell stories about, oh, we used to hustle dimes of rock back then, the dimes of smack back then, you know, and tell a good old urban novel stories, but you cannot discuss the streets if you're active in the streets in real time. It doesn't make no fucking sense. You're asking to go to jail. That is one fucking rule that I don't know what street, what project, what hood, what trailer park, what suburban, what county you come from, that you don't think that the police will use anything on camera or on recording, wiretaps against you in the court of law. You a motherfucking fool. From lyrics to dudes doing videos, like, these people will go to the extremes to get a conviction to prove their point that that you are a problem to society. In some type of way, you need to be governed. Every time somebody's governed, doesn't mean it's a prison sentence. It's probation, home monitor, all that shit, bro. Drug rehab, you're being governed, you're being controlled by someone else because they're saying you're not able to move in a free world. That's some real shit going on with Big U, man, at his age, man. But like I said, man, you know, in some of this, you know, you have to take accountability. And some of this shit was the help of CIs, the internet, no jumper. You know, all that shit was put in a pot of gumbo and could possibly have that man convicted and sitting in prison for a long time. But, you know, his hands ain't all the way clean. So we'll just let it play out and see what happens. You know, a lot of those dudes on Big U cases copping pleas, man. You know, just settle in to be in prison the next, you know, 5, 10, 15, 20 years. You know what I'm saying? It'd be 2045, 2040 for some of them guys get out, man. Sad situation, but it is what it is, man. You know, and I can't really speak down on California because California is the birthplace. Chicago, California is like the birthplace of gangs. So that shit is a culture. That shit is a way of life. That gang's been around longer than some niggas' grandfathers. You know, so, you know, California, that's just a way of life, and that way of life comes with consequences. And those consequences, unfortunately, can cost you the rest of your life in jail or a large portion of your life in jail. You know what I mean? You know, you got to toss the coin, you know, but I think Big U was in position to kind of like, you know, distance itself and still be relevant and not be sitting in jail right now. You know what I mean? Especially when the internet took a wildfire, when the content, when the vlogs and the, you know, the streaming and the podcasting, you know, took off and started making a way for regular Joes in them California streets. They start revealing a lot of the unseen hand and start, you know, breaking a lot of the Da Vinci codes of the culture out there for that, you know, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, whatever dudes may be making. They started putting the business in the streets, and that started leading to arrests, and arrests are serious. And dudes, it's tough. I gotta be completely honest with you. It's tough, but everybody knows, yo, how it's gonna go, though, man. You know what I mean? It's tough. Hit that notification button, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, leave a comment, man. So now my man lil Durk, man. Let's get into my man lil Durk. You know, that's how I feel about the youth situation. Hey, but let me get into my man lil Durk. What's going on with lil Durk? You know, I know one person that hate lil Durk is Trenches News, so what they gotta say about lil Durk? One day ago, new evidence of lil Durk killing King Von goes viral. Lil Durk case update. Let's go. We ready to give you the Lil Durk case update. In my opinion, and like I said, all this is just my opinion, y'all. I'm not the super bookworm when it comes to doing research, but I do my research. And my research could come from ChatGTP. My research can come from my you know, somebody fucking around, my homeboys, you know, just, you know, my research is different. I don't really get too deep into this shit because it's not that, it's that serious. I'm a fan of a lot of people that, you know, I create content about, but I'm not a detective. I'm not about to do, you know, the police work. I'm not about to do nobody work. I'm about to do my little research and give my own opinion. I got my own opinion, Doug. I got my own opinion, Doug. That's it. I give an opinion, man. I give opinion. And if anybody got a problem with my opinion, it's 500 channels you need to go check before you fuck with Raw Dope, man. Because Raw Dope just keeping it a buck. You know what I mean? I'm just keeping that shit a stack, bro. Like, I don't do the faking. I ain't trying to get you indicted, bro. If anything, I want to see you come on.
Defense attorney in Florida, here to talk to you today on the lil Durk case. We got a lot of requests of people wanting me to cover lil Durk's case, and we know that it was set for trial when Melly's tampering case was set to go to trial, but then it got continued. In the meantime, it's been set now for a status conference on February 23rd, but recently they had this big motion pending about what evidence should come in or stay out if and when this goes to trial. It's going to go to trial. The defense had filed a motion in limine, a motion talking about 404B evidence. That's evidence of other crimes, wrongs, or acts. The extraneous or outside information that the state may try to use against lil Durk or the other defendants. And the defense is saying that that it's not admissible. Usually it's because it doesn't prove anything with respect to the allegations in this case, or if it does prove something, then there's a 403 objection where you're saying that it's more prejudicial, it creates more prejudice against the defendant than what it proves, and so therefore it's unfair. And sometimes some evidence fits that, and sometimes the prosecutor has to present a certain amount of reason why they think this evidence should come in or not. So like, what are we talking about here? The motion, they had a hearing, a big hearing on February 9th. And so all the attorneys appeared. There were 4 attorneys present and 4 defendants. The co-defendants were there, and the attorneys made the arguments about this 404B evidence that they want to keep out. And the judge took it under advisement. A lot of times we'll go in as defense attorneys and argue a motion, and the state presents their side, we present our side, and then the judge doesn't rule right then and there, which sometimes is surprising or frustrating for the defendant, and we have to wait. We have to wait and see, and the judge is going to take their time, review everything, and review their notes and the law, and then they will issue an order, a ruling, usually in writing. And so that's what happened in this case. And on February 13th, the judge issued an order, a 21-page order that went through all the different things. Now, portions of it are redacted. Redacted means that it's sealed or you can't view what that particular evidence is. But we did get some insight as to some of the things that are coming in and some of the things that will be kept out. For those of you who follow these trials involving famous rappers or in this music industry, a lot of times lyrics are being used against the defendant. And whether or not that's right or wrong or admissible or not admissible, that has become a hot topic in criminal cases, and prosecutors have really seized on music videos, music lyrics, and trying to use that as evidence of a crime. And that is what they were doing here. Now, apparently, the court had previously held some other hearings on November 18th of last year and then January 7th, but deferred ruling on that motion. And then now there was, according to the court, a flurry of briefing on the issue. What's a brief? A brief is basically a memorandum of law or the attorneys filing a document in support of their position, kind of helping the judge, because we kind of take it for granted that the judge should know all of this and be up to date on the area of law or any new case law that might be in favor of one side or the other. And it's the attorney's job to actually find those cases and put it in some sort of concise format that helps the judge understand their position. And then that way, if they want to rule in the judge's favor, it almost helps do their job by getting them halfway there, because the judge can track the same language that the attorney presented. And so even though there already been hearings on this, the court says that there was a flurry of briefing on the issue, and it cites 4 different briefs that were presented on these issues. And then the government, which is the prosecution, filed their response as to why they believe the request should be denied or why this evidence should come in. And there was one issue where the government initially had indicated that they wanted to introduce evidence around a 2022 incident in Chicago. I think that there was a shooting, but the government said that they're not even gonna be moving forward on that. So that was denied as moot, meaning that that's not even coming in, and that they're not gonna be able to talk about the 2022 Chicago incident. That was regarding a shooting at a youth center on the far south side of Chicago in 2022. So they're not gonna get into that with this case. So then the court goes into the Rule 404B notice. Anytime here in Florida, it's called Williams Rule evidence. And if the state or here the government intends to use this type of evidence, which is basically evidence of prior bad acts, wrongs, if they're going to use that, they have to provide the defense notice in advance and specify exactly what it is they intend to use so that we can raise an argument whether or not it is appropriate. And so the first thing that the defense argued was that it was not specific enough to meet the requirements under Rule 404B. So wanting them to be specific is important because the rule is there to prevent trial by ambush, that all of a sudden all of this stuff and evidence is coming in and we didn't have time to prepare. But the judge is saying that's not an issue here because you are having these hearings way in advance of trial. So there's no sandbagging, there's no last minute anything, so they can't really complain. And one of the things that they're complaining about is all of a sudden that the prosecutor prosecution is switching their theory of prosecution, which they can do, but the allegation was the allegation originally was that Lil Durk paid someone or had a bounty, $1 million, or put this amount that they were going to offer to pay, and that's why Quando Rondo was executed at his direction and for that payment. Now, the government is apparently going to argue that, and again, we don't know, because at the trial they can still fully present the case however they want to do it, but they're going to rely on other information, the fact that almost like shouting them out, using them in videos, posting different things, and that was the payment. So it's this kind of quasi-payment, not a direct payment, that they are going to use as the murder for hire theory. And so as far as the notice, the judge didn't take any issue with that, but did remind them as it gets closer to trial, if all of a sudden there's some new stuff that they're planning on using, they need to be careful to really follow the rules by alerting the defense in advance if there's additional stuff they plan on using. And the next part talks about what the court found is evidence not subject to Rule 404B. Now, other crimes or wrongs have to be of the defendant. So there's some of the evidence that the defense was seeking to exclude is stuff that's not directly related or involving Durk. And so that doesn't fall under 404B because it's not other acts of the defendant, of lil Durk. What it is possibly something under 403, which is what I had mentioned about, is it more prejudicial? Is the fact that they're bringing in this evidence, surveillance footage and witness testimony related to the murder of DB in Atlanta on November 6, 2020, public pressure from fans of Banks and OTF demanding that Banks exact revenge for DB's murder. So those aren't things that Banks did himself, that lil Durk did. These are things that maybe make it look bad, but it's not directly his conduct. And so the defense, if they want to keep that out, they have to use another theory, not 404B, but 403. Also, Banks was asked on a podcast if he was triggered by the Slide for Vaughn comments, and Banks responded, "For some reason, I just don't see them comments no more, for some odd reason. Might be the water. We hear though." And the judge felt that he wasn't sure why the government even thought that fell under 404B, but they all conceded that it doesn't fall under this rule. The lil Durk's attorneys are arguing that this stuff is so inextricably intertwined, or what the government wants to do is to make it seem like this is all so mixed in that it just has to come in because it's just so interrelated, and then that lets them avoid the whole 403, the more prejudicial than probative prong or objection. And so the judge on that issue, now he's going to go take those two one by one under a 403 analysis. The November 2020 murder of BB, aka King Von. So one of the things that was being sought to be kept out is the fact that King Von had been killed in November 2020. And obviously the prosecution wants to use it, the defense wants to keep it out because it seems like that's the motive, right? That's why now he wants to retaliate and go after Quando Rondo. But the court found that evidence seems plainly relevant, and that's one of the tests that the judge has to decide is it relevant to this prosecution? And he says it's definitely relevant. Yeah, this evidence seems plainly relevant to the prosecution of the case. And so the judge gives his reasons, and even though lil Durk's attorneys try to say, oh, but then that means it's going to be like this mini trial about what happened to that, and we don't need to get into that, but the judge here found that there is a significant probative value of the altercation and what happened with all of that, and it's not cumulative. That's another 403 reason. It's either more prejudicial than probative, or you can argue that it's cumulative, meaning there are other things that say the same thing, so we don't need this extra, or there's any risk of confusion or wasting the time of the juror. And the judge found that it didn't meet any of those, that it is more probative for the government's case, and it wasn't more prejudicial, it wasn't cumulative, it didn't waste time under 403, but it does say particularly considering the government's representation that blank, and it's redacted for these events. So I don't know what blank is, so they must have some significant support in favor of that, whether it's a witness that's going to tie it all together, whether there's some sort of smoking gun related to that. So that's denied. The whole King Von thing, that's coming in, specifically as to the surveillance footage and witness testimony surrounding the 2020 November murder of King Von. Now, the next thing the court took up was the public comments from the fans on
So I ain't want to cut off. So that's everything about Dirt, man. They letting a lot of shit slide in that Dirt trial, but from everything that I heard and I see, I do not feel like they have a knockout case with Dirt. But I am worried because it's the U.S. government and they play dirty. That's it. I'm be honest with you. The U.S. government play dirty. And you never know what they got and who they got. And they will hold back evidence. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think. You know, every man, every woman, anybody that got caught up with the government definitely said that the government play a dirty game. And that's what we worrying about with lil Durk. Because, you know, I don't believe that they have, I don't believe that they have a smoking gun. But I believe they have a couple witnesses. I do believe, and like I said, they can put this together, and as long as Durk get a good jury and not a biased jury, you know, Durk might come out on top. You know, with trial, in my eyes, for a black man or a black woman here on the shores of North America, it's like a 60-40. You know what I mean? It's a 40% chance you'll win. It's a 60% chance they'll beat you. That's just it. You know, and I believe that because I believe that, you know, you had that 40% chance that you might get the right people in the jury box and they might respect law. Or you might get the wrong people in the jury box and they just want to go home. Or you might get people in the jury box believe that you really did that shit because they really listening to your trial. That's what you gotta remember. You might get people in the jury box that just really listening to that shit and really analyzing and really believe you guilty. Then you got some people that just might find you guilty or not guilty because they just want to go home. They tired of being in there. You know? And then you got motherfuckers that just don't, you know, just don't really give two fucks. You know, the majority rules. So you got so many different ways that can go in that deliberation room with your life on the line. But for the shit that Dirt charge where he don't want to come. You know what I mean? Man, my name ain't no Black Mama, bro. Like, what the fuck? I'm going to go ahead. I ain't even going to kick you out, bro. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to remove that. And you can come back with some respect, bro. But, you know, before I got sidetracked by the comments, you know, it could go Dirt got a 40% chance of getting off, you know. And that 40% chance could be strong, you know, just like on the poker table. But I believe in my heart that lil Durk, I don't believe that they got a rock solid case, but it could go left. We never know. When August comes, Durk might strike a plea. Well, I'm going to show you how much I am that. Right now, bro, you just disrespectful. So I don't believe they got concrete evidence on Durk, but I do believe they have evidence on Durk and maybe a star witness. We seen with different trials over the years how star witnesses could go for the kill or star witnesses could fuck up the case just because they know they did wrong for doing what they doing. Durk got a strong legal team, I hope. You know, I hope he got the best in LA or the best that money could buy. And I wish the Muslim brother the best. You know what I mean? I don't know if he's guilty. I don't know if he's innocent. But I know that the internet, with that slide for Vaughn, what I do know is 85% of those people that posted the comment slide for Vaughn ain't sliding for their sister, ain't sliding for their mother, ain't sliding for their grandmother, ain't sliding for their homies in the streets, ain't sliding for their brother, cousin, god kids. They maybe slide for their kids and they broad, telling a millionaire to slide. To the point where as though that might become an issue in court. Peer pressure from the public, from a bunch of people Dirk don't even know, talking about slide for Vaughn. The fuck is you talking about? What happened in Atlanta had nothing to do with the internet, but the internet had a lot to do with, you know, a headache and aggravation. But the internet would never be charged in a court of law because 97% of those people that comment under your post and say stuff, you will never see them. You will never see them in real life or real time. And if it's meant to be, you'll run across them. And they not who they say they are. And it's sad, but true. And sometimes it bothers me. Everybody, oh, you're a female. You know, I be so nice. Bro, I'm not a female. I'm just a nice-looking black man. I never seen a female that's in that community deny that they was a female. Bro, I ain't here to play them games. If you look at my channel, I get it asked all the time. Okay, cool. It's funny. You know what I mean? But, you know, after a while, I don't play. I don't play with men. I don't play with women. I don't play with people's children. I don't play with people's pets. I don't play with people's money. I don't play with people's property. I don't play. I joke. I kid around. I have a wonderful sense of humor. I am who I say I am. But I don't play with people. And I try my hardest to control my emotions because I'm not unbeatable. I'm not unguardable. So I try to walk a peaceful path just as a black man that been through a lot in my city and with the family in the city. You know what I mean? I try to stay human. I try to stay normal. So the lil Durk situation, I feel like, is a tough one. And Durk got a 40% chance that he could come out on top. He got a 60% chance that he could lose. But shout out to my man Keeping It a G News because he's a research junkie. He's a research junkie. And that's a good thing. Him, Sean P, like a lot of these dudes are research junkies. And I'm a fan of the underdog internet culture. I am. And I'm a part of that. I want to lead the group of 100K and under crew. 100K and under crew. But you gotta have 100. You gotta have 1,000. You gotta have 1,000 subs, and you can't have over 100,000 subs to be in my under 100K group. That's a new movement I'm starting. 2026 under 100K. It count. Man, what up, cuz? Big cuz, what up? Love you, man. Love you to death, brother. How you doing? How you doing, man? As for me, cuz, I was, just to give you an update, we talked about Britney Spears. Talked a little about with the 50 Cent Dame and Dash, but it kind of faded off to the Dame and Dash conversation. We talked about Dirt, Big U. And, you know, before I wrap it up, we're going to get into, you know, a little bit of the politics. But how you doing, cuz? Cuz, I'm having a get-together for my birthday, man. I would love for you to come out. A small get-together. Invite only. It'll be food and drinks. And I will be recording live. So everybody get to, you know, chop it up. You know what I mean? But I would love for you to be a part of that. You know, my birthday, April the 7th. But my event may not be till... My event will be between April the 7th and May the 7th. You know, just that, you know, friends and family. Live podcast. You know, 100, maybe. I'm going for 100 people. Friends and family, live podcast, meet and greet, you know what I'm saying? Get a chance to be on my platform. But let me get back to that. But Durk, I think, you know, he got a 40% chance of beating it. And that's a good thing. So, if y'all don't know, Baltimore, we had 2 police incidents, Baltimore City and Baltimore County. 2 black men lost their life. Now, one black man was seen on camera leaving out the bar or corner store or bodega, whatever it was. So one police was in there, then the police found him. He ran. Police said he had a gun. They shot him 16 times. The next incident was in Baltimore County. Baltimore County police officers was dispatched to Security Boulevard area for somebody being asleep in a vehicle. That's a wellness check, usually drunk driving. It resulted in owner of the vehicle, which is Big Sam, long live Big Sam, justice for Big Sam, justice for anybody that faced police brutality, and justice for the police. You know, the justice go 2 ways. That's what I'm going to talk about tomorrow. Justice go 2 ways. Justice for those police that lost their life in the line of duty. And justice for the civilians that lost their life because the police decided that day they were going to take a life. Justice both ways in my eyes. You know, just to be honest with you, justice in both ways in my eyes. I'm just going to be honest. I'm just that mature and older now. Justice in both ways. If a police lost their life doing their job to somebody that thought that they could take an officer life, I think that family should have justice. If a police decide to take a civilian's life, a taxpayer life, a person of the community that take care of them, because you have to pay their taxes and you know, the trash men, the firefighters, the police, the sheriffs, the detectives, the city officials, they all are paid through taxpayer money. They're public service workers. So they honestly work for you. So they don't deserve to lose their lives or be hurt, and you don't deserve to lose your life or be hurt by them. So the police pulls over, Sam jumps out the car, but what people didn't pay attention to in that video, you knock on the window, I'm a little fucked up, it's the police, you know, we all know you wake up aggy. I'm just acting if I'm the guy attorney. Now I'm going to get to the first one. The first one, police said the suspect had a gun. They found the gun on the scene. They shot him and they killed him. Okay, I'm going to be that suspect lawyer. We have a suspect. We see him on camera walking out the store. When we see him on camera, we see him walking down the street. We see him run. That's not a person that's trying to kill a person that's in our community to serve and protect. When you are running away from the police, you're not trying to hurt nobody if you're running away. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Men lie, women lie, the facts don't. Now, carrying a gun without the proper license is illegal in the state of Maryland and many states. So if you do that, it's consequences for your action. You could face jail time. You could face federal time for that weapon. If you're caught with that and you're a convicted felon, you could face all types of consequences for this. That's a fact. If the person that took an oath to uphold the law and to protect the streets of Baltimore, it's a difference between somebody running at you with a gun trying to harm you and somebody running away with a gun trying to get him off of him. That was cold-blooded murder in my eyes. That was excessive use of force in my eyes. And those people involved should face excessive use of force consequences when it shouldn't have been used. Now let's talk about Big Sam in Baltimore County, because I'm on it. If you go to my page, Raw Dope Podcast on Instagram. They are cussing me out. Some guy just said that he hoped that I get killed next by police. Probably white, black, Puerto Rican, Haitian. I don't know. But it wasn't me and my friends that said no shit like that. Big Sam. Okay. Big Sam. Okay. You sleep in the intersection. When you sleep at an intersection, either you tired just getting off of work, or you tipsy, or you high as fuck. All of the above. Police come out, they knock on your window. Hey, are you okay? License, registration, whatever they may ask. You say, okay. What I saw on the tape that people are missing, you wake an individual up. When you wake up, you can wake up two ways, good or bad. No in between. You can wake up, hey, oh man, I fell asleep and working all fucking night, man. Oh my God, sir, I'm sorry. Or you can wake up, what the fuck you knocking on my car window for? You know, it's two ways you can wake up. Either not evil, good or evil. That's the only way you wake up. Everybody know that. Either you wake up agitated or you wake up happy. You know what I'm saying? What I did see was the police slam that car door aggressively. Now, when you slam a car door aggressively in the wee hours of the morning when somebody's waking up, that person may react in an aggressive way. When they act in that aggressive way, you agitated that person to act in that way because you could have shut the door the proper way, but you didn't. He hops out. He's mumbling something. He slaps the officer hand down once. The officer get back in the car. He slaps his hand down. Officer throw 2 punches. Legally, you cannot do that as an officer. You are trained for situations like this. And brute force, violence, is not the remedy. This is not your first reaction. That's not your first reaction. And everyone's defending the officer. I understand that, you know. But you have a job to serve and to protect. You cannot react the way if you didn't have a gun, if you didn't have your uniform and badge on. You are paid not to act away for this, 8 to 12 hour, maybe 16 hour shift that you're working. You're paid to act a certain way. You took an oath to serve and protect, not to punch and not to shoot if you're not being attacked in the way. I know if you smack an officer hand, the first thing they do is, when younger, they will go for your arms and wrap it around you before they throw a punch. Throwing a punch is defending yourself. That's just what it is. And that led to murder. 2 murders, senseless, because the police department, I feel like, didn't react or need better training in dealing with people with mental issues, people trying to flee because they got, they lost their mind for jail. Because, we live in a violent city. Just speaking for the guy in East Baltimore, we live in a violent city. So you could tell somebody that, that been in a lot of shit their whole life not to carry a gun. You just ought to, have a nice GoFundMe fund for a lot of guys that can't afford to live in different places that could get caught up in the places. You should have a GoFundMe page for that. Honestly speaking, you should have a GoFundMe page for that. You know what I mean? If you think that some people don't have to tote a pistol. I got homeboys that, friends, family, associates, that got to tote a pistol. And some might be like, bro, why you doing that? You crazy. And even the ones that got to tote out, like, bro, when you get a little money up, man, go do an overnight shift for a little while. Try to get away from that. Because, I've been charged with guns before. Even I've been shot up before. Good childhood friend, like my little brother died next to me. I've been through this shit before. So I get it. I understand. But I know one thing for sure and 2 things for certain. It's 2026. If it's that bad, you gotta get the fuck away from here. Sometimes, and I go hear all the street guys and tough guys say duck in that wreck. Okay, you don't have to duck in that wreck, but you will be begging for wreck. You don't gotta duck that wreck, but you will be begging for wreck. Do not let that go over your head. The convicts know what I'm talking about. You ain't gotta duck that wreck, but you will be begging for that wreck. And if you don't know what that means, is that you'll be begging for that wreck when some niggas got in a fight, a stabbing, they found drugs or anything going on in the world. They lock you down and they call it recreational every time they let you open the door for your cell. You were going to child, school, work, program, or recreation. So you can not duck that wreck, but be begging for wreck. And be writing grievances and stuff talking about, you know, you want to get jail better. You know, it's always that option. But like I said, the knowledge that I hold in the way that I am came with age and time, and because Allah Soprano Idol, Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar. You know what I mean? Allow me to live long enough to be conscious and understand, and allow me to go through certain things will make me a better person and have better judgment. And I don't have it all figured out. Hell no. I'm going through it now. You see the pain in my eyes. You see the pain in him young face. But I'm not trying to figure it out from behind the door. So every day of freedom I got is another day that I could be successful. Hit that notification button, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, leave a comment. And so America, we dropping bombs over in Iran, place of 90 million beautiful people, just like America's filled with beautiful people. And the beautiful people during the month of Ramadan, it's a Muslim state, gotta go through what they going through. Because man run the world. Are we, the people in the free land, gonna come out on top? When you live in the free land, that's all you can hope for. But do we watch a lot of people lose their life? It's sad. I just hope our president and the people in power get this situation under control in all places, from Israel to, you know, the United States and to Iran, and stop this war. Stop this war. Stop this war before it spirals out of control and us humans could be really hurt by it. You know, that's my take on it. That's my take on it. So there's a lot of wars going on every day, civil wars in these countries every day. That's not, you know, we are God's people, regardless of our shape, creed, religion, belief systems, whatever. We are God. Creations, from that water to the animals to the sun, every beautiful thing that life has to offer. We are God creations. Whether you Muslim, Christian, Jew, Hindu, 5%er, Nation of Islam, Baptist, Jehovah's Witness, whatever you believe in, you will still believe in God and a higher power. And God has the last say so in everything. Everything. And guess what? We all, at some point, second guess God. We do. We all second guess God. And a lot of things happen, we wonder why God allow happens. That's what makes us human. Don't let that go over your head. A lot of us, the most religious people, ask God why. And the reason why we do that, because we humans. We have a conscience. We're not animals. We're humans. Please hit that notification button, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, leave a comment. If you had just came to my channel for the first time, please subscribe to my channel. Trying to make my way to 10K. If you see, this channel's been on YouTube for a while now, and this channel, no fuck shit, no fake shit, no foolishness. Anything you say can and will be used against you on this internet. I'm an interviewer, And I do these vlog talks just to catch in with my 5,000 plus subscribers to let you know that I'm a real person. I'm a real man. I work hard for everything, and everything it ain't the cash app. But if you could pay me with a like, a comment, a hype, I got 10 people in there right now. I'm not asking for no money. I'm asking you to go to the comment, the 3 dots right there, slide them across and hit hype. And this pushes this video into the algorithm. It's better. You don't want to buy t-shirts. The t-shirts is in there. Look right there. Look. Right, that's my t-shirts. If you want to buy them, buy them. If you don't, you don't. But if you can do it, like this video, hype this video, share this video, push this video into the algorithm. You know, I've been shot before. You know, I'm a big guy, man. 290 pounds, 5'8". I don't do pills. I don't take narcotics. The most I take is Tylenol, Excedrin. I like cognac, but I don't drink every day. I'm an occasional drinker. But I'm a lover of the plant, the cannabis plant, the marijuana plant, the gas plant, the haze plant. I love it. And it helps me deal with my pain, my anxiety, my depression, whatever I'm going through. That's what I like to do. And I'm not promoting nobody to do it. But, hey, if you suffer from certain things, it'll calm you down before you go try other things like Black & Milds, Newports, drinking every day, you know, ecstasy, Molly, Xanax, cocaine, heroin, fentanyl, you know. Or you could just be absolutely drug-free. I preach that 100%. But this beautiful plant grows out the earth, and it takes you in different places. Me, it keeps me calm. It makes me focus, and I could go 8, 12 hours a day and continue my work day and do what I need to do as a man. But after that's done as a man, I like to do what a man like to do. I like to roll my cigar with a green product. And it comes from the great before me and you. And that's what I like. Please. I'm not drunk. Do I look drunk? Do I look drunk? Am I talking junk? Am I talking slur? I'm enjoying myself. How you doing tonight? I'm glad that you're in here with me 1 o'clock in the morning. You seen another day. When the sun come up, I hope you come up too. You know what I mean? Hit that notification button. Hit that subscribe button. Drop a like. Leave a comment. Hype this video. And listen, I thank everybody for tapping in, man. Everybody for tapping in, man. No fuck shit, no fake shit, no foolishness. Anything you say can and will be used against you on the internet. Raw Dope Podcast. Tap in. Follow my channel. Go hype all my videos up. Get to know me. Baltimore Stand Up.